Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Meeple has landed.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Vitruvian Meeple's production of the Powers That Be, a Claim the Sky campaign. I'm your host, Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple, here as always with Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray. We're here to play some CYPHER System, Superheroes. We're here for issue 32 of the Powers That Be. I know, I can't believe it either. Those of you who saw a couple of episodes ago, I mean, you knew this was coming. So we're going to start with issue 32, round 2, fight! And with that, I will pass it over to our GM, Patrick. Patrick, please take us back into the world of Excelsior.
So when last we left our intrepid heroes, ooh boy, have things gotten messed up. So currently, on the tails of a fight against the Automacon, where strangely enough, you guys actually defeated him. I was kind of shocked by that whole thing myself. And then the Reich Donner shows up to kind of take his place. So Automacon is busy rebooting, and the Reich Donner is being held in place by a group of psychic entities known as the Mind Hive, who have currently hijacked a whole bunch of, generally speaking, innocent people from around the park and are working through them to put the machine into a time stop while y'all figure out what you're going to do about it. The former leader of Gen X's team, Obey, showed up at that point just to make everybody's life absolutely miserable, and by pointing out that he's the person who is somehow in charge of STEM, and he's not a very nice person anymore. And with that, he, of course, did a nice villainous thing by stealing Jean's girlfriend and depositing her over with the Circus King just to make things interesting, at which point both Crash and Gen X headed off towards Rikers Island. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is engaged in various activities in Central Park, including we have Jackdaw trying to figure out how he's going to take down the Reich Donner. Black Ice is really considering asking somebody something that she really doesn't want to do. And Paw is trying to negotiate some sort of peace between the Scions and the Atom family in the hopes that either or both sides will engage in the several fronts that are going on right now and hopefully save the city. And so with that, let's start off with our fine friends over in Central Park first. So there is a shimmering bubble around the Reich Donner. Automacon is now walking around, and he's not doing a whole lot, perhaps recharging or something of that nature, or just really dealing with the fact that, after a reboot, it takes a little bit to get all the drivers loaded. And hopefully, CrowdStrike wasn't updated on him during his downtime, and that would just cause extra problems.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's been part of my week too. So
I'm going to take just a moment to lean forward, hands on my knees, and take a deep breath because I am flat out exhausted. Because we have been running nonstop for what feels like weeks, even if in game it wasn't. And I look over to Jackdaw and Paw and go, how are you guys as far as just physical and mental reserves?
Well, let's see. Physically I'm fine. Mentally I'm kind of exhausted, and I am really not looking forward to the continued conversation I need to have with certain individuals.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I mean, emotionally, probably not so good, but that's not what you asked about. So,
Yeah.
you're not looking so hot.
Yeah. No, I've hit a wall. And I look up and glance around looking for the one being on this planet that I loathe with a burning fire in my gut, which is Shift. And I'm looking around for him since he's here somewhere.
Shift is hanging out with the slowly growing collection of scions hanging out with Bill, who are all seemingly either discussing the proliferation of mutants from the Atom family, or perhaps what their friends from the Mind Hive are up to, trying to keep the Reich Donner from moving.
Well, yeah, we preferably would prefer. Well, that's double preference. We would like it if Mind Hive doesn't burn out 11 innocent civilians in the process. That would kind of be bad.
Yeah.
Well, and you need to talk to Bill anyway. So, ladies, shall we?
Yeah. I'm just putting this out there. We've got to get a healer in our group. Just saying.
Yeah.
When this all is all done, we need to recruit somebody.
I feel you.
So I take a deep breath, gather up my courage, for lack of a better term, more of resolve.
It's all right. I got your back, baby girl.
Yeah.
And with as much attitude as I can muster, being as exhausted as I am, I walk up, or rather over to Shift, and just stand there for a minute and stare at him, contemplating how the hell am I going to do what I need to do.
The funny thing about this, of course, is given the company that Shift is in right now, Shift is not very good at telepathy, at least on a grand enough scale to read thoughts that Shift can read. On the other hand, most of the other scions there hear you loud and clear and are all staring at you like,
well, I'm sure they can hear me loud and clear.
Yo.
Shift turns around. Oh, can I help you?
I can't believe I'm going to do this. But yes. I'm admitting I need help. And you're the only one who can do it at the moment, because I don't know anybody else's abilities here. I am exhausted. We are exhausted. We need a boost without fucking with anything else in our heads, in our bodies. We just need a recharge.
No. That's all you need. Shift steps over to you and holds out their hand.
I take a step back because I'm I look over at Jackdaw.
He's got the gun out.
The weird alien gun that's humming menacingly.
Yes.
And I have, a large chunk of my family, arrayed around. So, you know.
And I just touch my fingertips to his while glaring at him. Because yeah, this is a big thing for her.
So when you touch their fingers, your body goes kind of numb for a second because all the pain that you were experiencing and the tiredness and stuff just kind of disappears, but isn't replaced with anything immediately. And as Shift is just staring right into your eyes, you feel yourself start to come back, kind of like you woke up and you had a nice cup of coffee and are just watching some cartoons right now. And, that's the level of energy that you're up to. And then pulls their hand back. Better?
GM.
So that resets your stats and your rests.
Yes. Thank you.
And Shift's talented tonight.
And I step back because
Yeah.
I look at the other two going, up to you if you want to.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I didn't actually drop a needle on the floor. Jack?
Holds out his hand. Anyone?
Oh, you want to go
Hand starts
first?
flowing because I got to back up my backup.
Oh, I walk up to him and touch my fingers to him.
Okay, and the same. You feel all the tiredness and exhaustion that's weighed on you over the past several hours just kind of melt out of yourself, and then you feel normal.
Thank you.
All
Turns
right,
to Jack, holds up the hand again.
my turn. Shift the gun into the offhand, step up, and instead of doing the finger touch, just goes in and does the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers,
Grab each other's wrist, yes.
yeah.
Okay, and likewise, you feel yourself coming to, and then the thing is that Shift doesn't let go immediately. It gets kind of a weird look on their face.
My hand starts really emanating cold.
Huh. I don't remember doing that.
Doing what?
There's at least 3 of you in there. I mean, actually a little bit from some others too.
Yeah, that
That's
tracks.
the head the other way. But there's no scar tissue along the sections, so it wasn't quite surgically put together.
Well,
There's not
And
many
he-
of us who can do that.
pulls the hood down, takes the mask off. Well, there are scars, just not, in the glial cells or gray matter.
That's fascinating. You should have someone look into you to see who's there. And then let's go.
I said, now is not the time.
Well, that wasn't
Maybe
awkward.
it is the only time.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Now the elephant in the room.
Y'all look up at the right Connor, standing there, ready to do something, but you're not quite sure. Maybe step on somebody or shoot them with the vortex cannon. It's nasty.
Okay.
And
Can I
as I
take-
mentioned before, the one particularly interesting thing is the space in its chest through which it was shot is still sort of open, but it leads somewhere. Just
Yeah.
keeps dropping back further and further and further in different segments. It's kind of painful to look into.
Okay, I want to take a moment and look around to see who of the Adams is currently at the park and kind of do a quick and dirty feed the information to to Jack. Like, okay, we've got X amount of this type of power and that power and stuff, and just I give him a set of raw data of those so that we can try to start figuring out some sort of strategy.
So
All
as
right.
you're explaining that, you hear somebody clear their throat behind you.
Look over.
And standing now, fortunately you're there because you know this person. Standing there in the middle of the park is the mysterious Mr. X. Strangely still, somehow caught in the middle of a shadow somewhere, so he's a little difficult to see. Looks at everybody. So, I finally learned the last thing I needed to know. I think I understand how everything's working. So, over to Rikers Island. Two of you are zipping over to Rikers Island at as fast as each of you can, which means that, of course, fortunately, Gene took off first, if I recall, because he needs a serious head start to get there at the same time that Crash will.
And failed.
So you cross to the island. The side with In Memoriam is eerily quiet. You don't see any of them anywhere. They might still be in the basement of the one building. They might have scooted out of there. It's hard to tell, but they are nowhere to be seen. Also of interest, the office trailer is only half there. The middle of it seems to have kind of gotten sucked into something, and the other two parts are sticking out of it at funny angles.
Obviously, we have no idea how that might have happened.
Actually, fun backstory. It's when you opened up the vent on the other side, it caused this huge draft to come through. And it just kind of sucked the trailer into itself.
Now
Up
you
ahead on
mentioned
the
in the
scene-
Patrick, you mentioned in the intro that Calamity was actually taken to Rikers,
Yes.
but Gene doesn't know that, correct? Like none of us in the team know that.
You
We
know
just saw
that
her
because
disappear.
Obey sent her and told you what he was doing. Well, hinted at.
Okay.
So you can see
Got
that
it.
the big tub is on fire. There's a delightful conflagration going on.
You love to see it.
It wasn't my fault.
The other side of the island is a riot of screaming and violence and all sorts of terrible things happening.
Okay, you love to see that too. All right.
It's a big enough area.
Since
You can't quite spot where any particular people are, but you know the people you're looking for have to be here somewhere.
Okay. Well, then I will continue to look for them.
does Gene know that Crash is accompanying in his own way?
Well, that depends if Crash lets him know.
Okay.
Being a person who can run around invisibly, it's a
Yeah.
little. He doesn't want you to know he's there. You don't know.
Understood, because Gene is going to go over to the riot of people first.
Oh yeah, that's where Crash is going as well.
Okay. But you decide then, how you will make your presence known. So hold on. Oh, no. Touching. Good. Let's go. Wait. Oh, come on. This is. Yeah, but that's not. All right. And when we say riot, is it a contained riot within itself, or is it like one of these things where people is it dispersing or spreading?
There are a fairly surprising number of people on that side of the island right now, and it is everywhere.
Hmm.
People seem to have gone crazy. They are attacking each other. They're attacking the animals. The animals are attacking them. And everything seems to be heading towards the bridge straight into your neck of town.
Okay. I poke at Eddie and ask if he sees any traces of influence from his flavor of spectrum going on within. Like, are these like psionically difference between like just brainwashed versus psionically taken over or whatever?
Oh no, that is all your cousin's doing.
Cousin, thanks. All right. So,
Our cousin's doing.
well, yeah.
We're a team, man.
Yeah.
So, Crash, you see something that bothers you a little bit.
No,
Because
I've gotten used to seeing Gene talk to himself.
there seems to be precisely two people here that you see outside that are not currently engaged in trying to harm people, and they seem to be playing more of a defensive game.
Okay.
It is a pair of mimes.
Is it the same pair of mimes?
As best you can tell, if you're very good at telling mimes apart.
All right. So I'm going to clock that, but not actually respond at that point. I am going to basically get up behind Gene, still invisible, and just kind of keep myself still for the moment. And then as the riot, and I'm assuming stampedes and whatnot continues, every good circus has an elephant, right?
Oh yes.
So as the elephant starts going nuts around the island, I lean over to Gene's ear and say, "We really need to talk about the elephant in the room."
And at that, and due to everything that's gone on, Gene
Eeps.
Gene has a involuntary release of energy.
It's all right. It happens to everyone once in a while.
Yeah, well, just when you get my age, you'll understand better.
Do you need a clean uniform? There?
Really, we all do at this point. However, so except that because this was not a voluntary, there's the tension, all the exhaustion, all of that. Crash triggers a release of energy that is mixed with Eddie's energy. And instead of like a beam of something that would be shot out of hands or fingers or whatever, this is an all-around kind of like uh body just even and no energy absorbed. Um Do. How should I roll this, Patrick?
See, what skill are you using?
I am using release energy with no energy absorbed.
No energy absorbed. Of course, you've absorbed energy. Remember that happened earlier when you guys were fighting.
Yep.
That's right. Yep. Nope. You're right. When you're right, you're right. So yes, energy absorbed. Um,
So generally how PC versus PC rolls are made is you roll your attack, see what level you get. I roll my defense, see what level I get. So it's not so much easing as it is adding to the final level.
And that he's just kind of firing omnidirectionally, so it's not a, you are defending against it, but he's not attacking you.
correct.
So, yeah.
But can we say that my skill
target
level
zero
in this?
Roll it as a target 0 and see how many levels you get.
Okay.
We'll see if Crash can, phase out of this or whatnot.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so you beat difficulty 7. Okay. I beat difficulty 8. Well, it helps that, when I'm invisible and phased, my speed defense starts eased by 5.
Oh, nice.
This is 1 higher.
So a shockwave emanates out from you and spreads out into the crowd, knocking some people back. The elephant looks over, and somebody punches it right in the jaw, boom, and knocks it over. And who would be standing there but Grendel? So, back at Central Park.
Fuck you. Oh my God.
I know introducing Patrick to Dimension 20 was a bad idea.
Bad idea.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, Central
Back
Park.
to you, Bob.
So, mysterious Mr. X walks up. As now I see we were missing before.
Refresh my memory on who the hell Mr. X is.
Mr. X is a contact of Crash's, who Crash has been feeding some information to along the way.
Ah, okay.
I think I'm the
So
only.
that-
I'm the only because I've tagged along with Crash to a couple
Ah,
of meetings with him.
Yeah.
So, like, I know him. I don't think we've talked to the rest of the team about this guy.
I've mentioned that I have a contact. I don't think I've ever. I don't believe
Right.
I've ever introduced the rest of you to him, nor have I really described him. But yes, Jackdaw would recognize him.
Yeah.
So, the fundamental lie that STEM has been working under is that it's in control of things. And it thinks it's in control of things because it's playing both sides. That's been their game the whole time. STEM isn't here to protect anybody, it's to keep both sides fighting against each other.
Right. Except this isn't a binary conflict. So,
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Especially because the people who are in charge are the bad ones. It's
okay.
a rather interesting turn of events, don't you think?
Do you actually have some revelations here? Because figured that one out. Like, I don't know, 5 minutes into meeting the team. So,
Yes. Well, here's the fun part about it. Why? Why are they doing that? Like, what purpose in the grand scheme of things does it serve? And now I think I understand it.
okay.
Want to share
with
with
the
the class?
They need to keep you guys sharp, and they need to keep you away from the populace. Because there's been another enemy here the whole time, and they've been trying to figure out how to deal with it. That's why they create soldiers. And don't get me wrong, as best I can tell, they've created almost everybody.
Except for the scions and the atoms.
You, of all people, should know better than that. Well, okay, part of you should have. But I think that might be missing from inside.
Yeah, the emergence of those two populations predates STEM as an organization.
Not entirely. See, remember following the war when America wanted rocket technology, so they let a whole bunch of people from Germany in who knew rocket technology.
Operation
Rockets
Paperclip.
on this thing, right?
Yep.
They did the same thing. So here's the fun part. They figured out how to create super soldiers. Those things don't happen naturally. The
Nope.
only ones that do are the aliens. And they've been here all along.
Right. Since, I think, early Cretaceous.
So consider, when New York City was destroyed, what happened?
It got rebuilt.
A gateway was
Renamed?
open. A gateway was open to another place.
Right.
They let demons and stuff in, ran riot through the city until the device that held it open was destroyed, which you happen to have part of.
The Rock.
Yes. You have, what is that, 3 fragments of it now?
Something like that.
Sitting in a coffee cup inside of a curio cabinet.
That may or may not be duct taped back together. Yeah. That tracks. So riddle me this. Looks over at the hole in Reich Dunner and the Tesseract or whatever's going on in there. Sort of like that. Dimensional rift.
Sort of like that, yes.
Right.
So that, what they saw, that thing, that's the enemy. And when the aliens talk about the time ticking away, that veil that lives between our places, that's going to go away. That's why they're here. Something between worlds is going to shred where we are, and, well, we don't know what's going to happen. STEM's been trying to do something about it, because the villains have as much of a stake in this world as anybody does, don't they?
Yep. But what is the aliens' stake in this?
That's a fascinating question. I've never spoken to one. They were
Well-
wiped out before I really got into this.
Are we talking about the symbiotes or different
No,
alien
not
aliens?
those. Those I have spoken to a few of them. They're here to watch. Unfortunately, a few of them got distracted from their job. Actually, all of them did, thinking about it. They like humans. I don't know what it is about us. If we weren't here, this would just happen.
Nephilim.
We're inconsequential to what's happening.
Great. So, yeah, biblical references are based on actual. Oh God, I hate this.
Welcome. So that said, you are a special person.
Little old me.
Yes. Well, you don't remember because brain trauma to a delightful level, but they wanted to keep you around. Actually, the thing you created wanted to keep you around.
What did I create?
Just gonna ask you that.
He leans back, smiles, and holds a hand over to where the scions and the atoms are starting to stare at each other a little uncomfortably. Behold your work. Or at least about a third of you. Another about a third of you created that thing over there. And the other one, I don't know who you are. That was the dominant part of you, the part that they stitched the others into, whoever you were. Some poor soul who got into an accident, was unconscious, and unfortunately taken advantage of.
Miguel Hera.
So some part of you is a genius geneticist or something.
Okay.
Another part of you is a high energy physicist and engineer. Once again, points back over his shoulder at the giant robot standing there not moving.
Great. So part of me is a Nazi. Fantastic. Do you know which part wants to be a ballerina? Because those dreams really confuse me.
Actually, I'm not sure. I only have so much information on these people. They're difficult to find.
Right. Okay.
So that's it. Your creations look like they're about to attack your creations in a nice fight. Well, they should be perhaps fighting your creations. I don't mean to put all of this on you, but it's ultimately your fault, so maybe I should.
What a day to chew through the rubber straps.
Well, I have to make my way elsewhere right now. It's not a very safe place to be.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your cat friend here will have a lot to talk about for a bit. And then starts wandering off.
Exposition and mic drop.
I'm just gonna totally repress the existential freak out.
I just look over to Jack, pat him on his arm, and go, "Man, and I thought I had a fucked up life."
Well,
That's why I
apparently
like
I've
bratwurst so
had,
much.
I think I'll keep my teenage angst. Thank you very much.
yeah. Apparently I've had 4 of them at least. So, Pa, family reunion?
Yeah.
So, Pa, now that you're looking at the person who's, ultimately the progenitor of your kind, who you've been hanging out with for quite a while, and generally think of as a mopey bastard.
I mean, that tracks. So.
Yeah, but what about me? That's jacked up. I mean, that's Crash.
Crash is many things. Mopey is not one of them.
No. This whole situation is just
Entirely too fucked up.
yes. I don't. Yes. Yes. This is way too thinky for at this point. I just want to beat the crap out of that, and I point at the right gunner and deal with the rest of this later.
Okay, so there's a little family rift going on that I think we need to patch up, and then we can kick the ass of my Nazi child. Okay, this is really,
Okay, then.
really fucked up. Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna have to get really drunk after this.
Yes, yes, we are. I want booze and sugar. okay, like, what, Shift and Bill. I'm assuming that mom or dad or both, are here as well. And it basically, I gather up the leadership to both sides. Say, point, and right in front of me. Like, we are going to have a discussion right now, right here. Just, I am not. I am putting on the 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 bouncer face, basically the
Barroom diplomacy.
yes, the barroom diplomacy. There will be no arguments. You are going to listen to me. And I'm trying to actually find the actual skill in in my list. Oh, there it is. So, Patrick, do you want me to roll for this?
Yeah, why don't we have you roll for it? It will be a target 4.
Target 4. I'm going to use an effort. I'm going to use 2 levels of effort to ease the task.
Oh. Would you like to spend an XP?
He makes an action. Oh, nope. I do have XP to spend. Yes.
Otherwise, I would gladly give you one.
Yeah, this is not the time for a jam intrusion. That's giving him way too much power at this point.
And then the campaign ended.
Yeah. Okay.
So just hit the little D20 icon at the bottom, just below the failure GM intrusion, so you don't get.
The one that when you highlight it says reroll.
Yep. So you don't get recharged.
There
don't
you
get
go.
charged the points again.
Excellent. Okay, I will take I will take a 17 on that. And there we go. Okay.
Nice.
So, what do you tell them?
Okay, paraphrasing something I've only heard once is not really a good thing, but I'm trying to give him the gist of what Mr. X said. And it basically boils down to knock the crap off. We're actually related.
So, from just above and behind you, you hear fairly quiet voice say, "Cousins?" And you look behind you, and there's Akira holding Esmeralda, who's just having a delightful time having her belly rubbed because, it's not the brightest cat out there. It is perhaps the most long-lived cat ever, but
Yeah.
The neurons aren't exactly factory fresh.
So Patrick, you're saying that Esmeralda is a lot like Fubar?
yes.
Okay.
Maybe white on the outside, but all ginger on the inside.
Mother-in-law's old cat. He was gorgeous. He was sweet. He was dumb. Yeah.
And he only got more stupid as time went on.
What was that?
And he only got more stupid as time went on. He kept getting bigger and dumber, so we think that was just dividing out the intelligence amongst the entire body. May have had a bright moment as a kitten, we're not sure. So both sides kind of murmur amongst each other and look at each other. So why have we been fighting so long? And Sentinel, standing there, having removed his old suit of armor, waiting for the next suit of armor to come in, looks over. Oh, because we made you.
The fuck, dude? Not cool.
Oh, hear me out here. How do you think things would
You've
work?
got
if y'all were-
exactly 5 seconds.
How do you think things would work out for everybody if y'all were getting along? What purpose would the rest of us have?
I don't know, a normal life?
Yeah.
You guys outnumber us thousands to one.
Okay.
So do ants.
Great replacement theory
Oh.
here. Good job, Tucker Carlson.
Remember, he's a rich white guy.
Yes. You're totally acting like a rich white guy. You know, the biggest fear is that people not like you are going to treat you like you treat them.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yep.
You see,
Except
the thing is,
most people aren't entitled assholes.
well, that's the thing. We needed entitled assholes. Who else is going to cause fights to happen?
That's your job.
You just get along. Imagine that.
Yeah. Like,
Wow, what a concept.
wow. No wars.
And then we wouldn't be ready for what's coming because the war is coming. That's the problem.
So you were getting us all basically amped up to go deal with whatever the fuck is coming from the aliens from outer space?
The leading theory was we were going to have the two of you actually fight it out right when the gateway opened. But apparently that's not going to happen now. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I don't know. We can all freaking work together to deal with whatever needs to get dealt with. I mean, that's.
Or we could just shove you into the gateway when it opens and your incredible bloated ego blocks it. And the rest of us live a very happy life. You entitled prick.
But
Okay.
I am laughing. My character is not laughing.
Is Sentinel currently standing there in like civvies because his armor's busted up?
Long Johns.
Yes, he's wearing this weird kind of unitard thing.
Waiting for the Amazon delivery drones to drop a new suit.
Well, now that we've got that sorted out, says Bill, I think we should consider we have to take care of that thing. We have to take care of whatever's going on over there. And at some point, somebody needs to kick the crap out of this guy.
I walk
Okay.
over to Sentinel and I stick my hand out to say, Mr. Sawyer, I would just like to shake your hand. Because I have to admit, you have been an inspiration to me for a very long time. And I'm just honored to finally meet you. And I offer him my hand.
Well, thank you. He reaches out his hand and takes yours.
And I instantly encase it in ice. They say never meet your heroes. And I walk away.
Nice.
Because I'm really fucking done with older white men.
It makes us
Really am.
There they are.
I really am. And I start swearing under my breath in a combination of Yiddish and Spanish.
And the curse words are forming in the vapor and just like shattering on the pavement as she does it.
Occasionally pinging him in the brain with a bit of little icy on.
So Akira looks over at Jack and says, plan? And back over to Rikers.
We've never had one before. Why should we have one now?
So the elephant seems to have been knocked out cold by the 9-foot tall monstrosity that is Grendel.
So
I look up as I look up to Grendel and say, "You should be in a Mel Brooks remake."
So Crash will become visible. Point to Jean, and then Grendel. You yeah, and then to myself and to the mic. Me yeah. Huh?
Grendel starts stomping in your general direction.
Well, I know better than to be.
I
rude.
just hold my hand out with this absolutely. I literally just had whatever energy scared like out of me in every pore at the same time. Let me repeat, every pore. So stick my hand out, standing there, looking at him.
He stomps up to the extent of your hand and then stops.
I put my hand down and I do this.
He leans forward.
I put both of my hands around this lovable goon's face. Look him right in the eyes and say, I don't know why you're here, but for the sake of everybody's sanity, especially what little I have left, just tell me why the fuck you're here. And I give a little push so we can stand back up straight.
He looks down at you, says, I figured it out.
Great, Sparky. To what?
It was Obey. It was his fault.
For what this time?
For everything. For us. What happened to me and you. That was him. He's the only one who could have done it. It wasn't one of the Scions.
And given what had happened, you know, being reintroduced last episode, you see it's you remember the TV show Herman's Head?
Loved that show. Absolutely loved that show.
The like quick zoom right up to Jean's face into the head, and then it's comic book panels like the Marvel, just and it's the old style, right? Because this is the 80s, and you just see the voice balloons and the pictures and all, like, just scanning through about Tony disappearing, and then Cutie Pie and me, and the dejection and the disappear. I mean, just back and forth, and then stem up to like, and then zoom out. And then you see something you haven't seen before. Just as Crash scared the ever-loving whatever out of me, there is an equal and opposite reaction, because Jean gets so focused and incensed that he draws in energy from around him at about a 2-foot radius everywhere, and you can kind of see like just the like seeing heat waves, or just the distortion, visual distortion all around his body.
Hey, Patrick, can part of that aura and power and whatnot be some of my extra dimensional energy?
Yes. Yes, it can. You're right there.
So,
So then he says that you just, and I do this again.
yeah.
Yeah.
He leans down. I grab his face again. And you can kind of, if you see the eyes, you can kind of see the teeth and you can hear the growl go, know where he is?
I saw him drop your girl off. I was in the tent at the time. And when I saw the two of them talking, Obey and the Circus King, that's when I figured it just all snapped. And then Obey took off, and I've been trying to figure out where he went. I have a theory. I think he's trying to hunt down Erebus. I don't know where he is, though.
Tina.
If she would have been calling for Erebus, that would have been hilarious.
Right.
That's the next cat.
It's just hanging out on her chair, ignoring us.
That's all right. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but Helga came in, yelled at me from like about 6 feet away for like a good 5 minutes straight, and then fucked off. Like, didn't come to get petted or anything. Was just like,
Voice her displeasure.
yes, complaints department.
And on the 8th day, the Lord blessed cats with opinions. But last I saw your girl, she was under the big top just before it caught fire. I don't know what caused that. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
But I don't think Erebus is far away. This is why he picked this place. Whatever's going down, I think, is going down here.
I never thought I'd be saying this. But care to have some help in this?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to kick his ass.
Not unless I get to it first. And I look to the side and call, Crash?
So Crash, does, he kind of, does this with his arm, stumps with one foot, and he's now, phased again. Let's rock and roll.
We have a barista to save.
Not quite the rallying cry I was hoping for, but it'll do in a pinch.
For loving coffee.
Yeah.
Spoon!
Oh, I shouldn't inhale my tea.
Rule number 1.
Okay, so Crash, are you going to go talk to and or deal with the mimes?
So the mimes are just being defensive. They're not actually.
They seem not to be under the control that's affecting most other people. And don't forget you had struck a deal with one of them earlier.
I did, and I don't remember what it was.
I actually used a scion to do it, no less. Bill impressed upon them that they're going to work for you guys on the download.
Oh, yes. Time to go.
So you run up to one of them who goes, silently, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Time to cash in your chips. Let's go. Yes, you and Tweedledum.
You're looking for the Circus King, right?
Yes.
God.
Listen, actually, believe it or not, he's target number 2.
So who are you looking for?
Erebus.
Oh.
Deal with the big baddie first, then clean up the garbage.
There's a problem with looking for Erebus.
Yeah? What's that?
If Erebus doesn't want to get seen, Erebus doesn't get seen. I think when he shows up, we'll all know. This is not a small thing that I think they're doing that requires all of this. The other mime looks at him like very like stomps her foot on the ground because talking, and she doesn't want to say anything to express her displeasure. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Now you're starting, and the worst thing, you're standing there like, God damn it, now I'm starting to understand mimes.
All right. Time to regroup and strategize. We're meeting by the big guy over there. Pointing at Grendel.
As you walk back over towards Grendel, you hear the riot kind of changing character. Because a new group of people are starting to introduce themselves to the fight.
Okay.
Traveling south from the Bronx is a fairly large number of various and sundry mutants from the Atom family. They've done something such that they're just running across the river. It's not stopping them. And they're starting to pour onto the island.
Are they running to or running from?
To. They're running straight into the riot.
Okay.
Everybody get in the pit.
Right?
All right, so back on the other side, the other island. Y'all are standing there, staring at the Reich Donner, and it's just standing there. And as you're trying to, put together a plan, and you notice Automacon is standing next to you, also looking right at it. You think you kill the thing once it's down.
How did you kick its ass the last time?
I burned a hole in it. I shot it for everything I was worth and was able to penetrate its armor.
Did you intend on penetrating into another dimension there, buddy?
No. I don't know what that is. I think whatever woke it up is responsible for that, but I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either, which has got me worried. I mean, if it was just the old standard hole from the last battle, we just shove a couple V2s from its back into the hole and light the sucker up. But
And therein lies the problem. What's on the inside of it?
right. If it was just his reactor, job done.
So do you have a plan?
We're more of an improvisational troupe, to be perfectly honest.
The field around it's weakening, It's only got so long.
I know.
And it's a lot more dangerous than it looks.
Plan A is, again, try and blow it itself up with its own ordnance. Plan B is, shoving something inside and seeing what happens. Or plan C is, hey, Bill Klein, the Scion guy.
Yes?
Apparently, of my brain built that thing.
Huh. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Kind of weird day.
That's okay. I used to cause seizures in other people whenever I'd have a seizure myself. It was a lot of fun.
Right. Well, yeah, finding out that part of you is a Nazi war criminal and insane genius is kind of weird. Anyway, I don't have access to those memories. I don't want to do this, but could you maybe
You sure about this?
no, but
I got your back, Jack.
do we have any other choice? I mean, how long do we have before Hive burns out those people?
Not long. They should let go quickly.
Okay.
Sure.
So time's a wasting. Get in
Sit
the
down. You're going to lose your balance when I do this.
Oh, okay.
So you sit down on the grass next to the humming wall of, time and death. And everything starts getting weird. The world starts spinning around you, but it's not like spinning all the way around. It's kind of spinning and then it's hitting something. And so it's trying to spin, but it's not quite making it. And you hear this loud banging noise going on inside of your head while this is happening. And it's really horrifying. And the rest of you are currently watching your good friend having a very thorough, very large seizure. But then things start quieting down a bit. You're kind of feeling out of sorts. And then you start remembering things. You remember drawing up plans for various and sundry weird super weapons. Self-piloting airplanes, walking tanks, then the ultimate version of which is the thing standing near you. You also remember keeping something inside of something kind of like an energized Faraday cage. It's this difficult to see glowing mass, and you're trying to feed it instructions in order to modify how life operates. And you remember getting into a really bad motorcycle accident. You're flying through the air, watching the wall come right at you. And that's the last thing that part of that brain remembers.
Okay.
You sit up, you're kind of shaky. But you now remember what's on the inside of the right donor, where. And there's something that nobody seems to understand about it. It's supposed to be piloted.
You okay, Jack?
Did I wet myself?
No.
Okay. No, I'm not okay, but apparently remember designing this thing. Gehen Panzer? Fuck. It's supposed to have a pilot. It's not autonomous, so what's driving this thing?
Well, where's the pilot seat?
Out of character? Where do I remember that on the schematics?
You figure it'd probably be like the upper chest area, I guess, would make a lot of sense. You wouldn't put it in the head. That's just silly.
That's dumb. Yes. So where the big hole is?
Above where the big hole is.
Okay. Is it accessible by the big hole?
Well, if the big hole didn't lead into dimensional nowhere, maybe.
Okay. So
Could make another hole.
could.
Its armor's not impenetrable.
No, it's not. Look over at Autonomicon Like, buddy, if you were like a meter higher, we wouldn't be having any of these problems.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, well, you know, mammals store their sensory apparatus and, driving intellect in their head. It's a really dumb
It
idea.
had a living thing in it.
Yes.
So it has means of keeping a living thing in it alive.
Yeah.
Ventilation.
Good point.
I mean, unless you just build a big hole in it that, a bomber could just drop something right into, there's still some sort of access there.
Right. There's
That
got to
has
be
to
an
be-
air intake and some sort of exhaust.
So, and you think about it and you're like, yeah, actually there is one. And that is strangely enough in the armor seam for the head. It's kind of a tight fit. Might be able to be wedged open. Not many things to be able to fit in there. Like, unless like you had like a cat who can go underneath that inch tall gap in a door, you'd have to figure out some way to get someone in there. Which is a hint.
Yeah, so I'd say.
Yeah. How much can you squish down?
If I can get my head through, I can get the rest of my body through.
Come
That's
with
the
me.
only part they can't really. The rest I can kind of get me through. Lots of yoga.
Yep. So walk around to the back of this thing. I'm sort of picturing like, gigantic Stahlhelm style head because
Yeah.
Nazi wonder weapon here.
Yeah.
And look up under the neck seam.
So you figure you have to like turn the head, give it a really hard pull to along its like one axis in order to, tilt the head sideways a bit and do something to keep it from moving again because while she's squeezing in there, if it moves, she's crushed. But yeah, that should be able to get into the pilot compartment.
Okay, well, that's more than 12% of a plan.
Hang on.
Ice, do you think you can immobilize this thing?
I might be able to. Hold on, my game just crashed on me. So just a sec.
Give me just a
Ruh-roh.
second.
Well, that sounds like an excellent time to switch over to Rikers Island. So, which of the few landmarks that you know on this island are you going to head towards in your search for your girl? There's the world's worst petting zoo. There is the fairway where most of the riots are hanging out. It'd be a great petting zoo if the animals weren't trying to murder everybody. You have the big top, which still surprisingly parts of it are on fire. Parts have collapsed. Other parts haven't gotten into the on fire part yet.
But that's where Grendel said he saw Calamity go.
Yes. That's where I would want to go first. So I'd like to go to a not flaming portion of the big top.
So you start heading there,
Mm-hmm.
trudging through the riot because there's just a lot of weird clowns and other things going on, and none of them are normal at this point. Pardon me, there's a cat poking around up here, trying to steal.
Actually, can I take an action to get rid of to try to get rid of the riffraff and get them to flee.
Sure. What are you going to try?
Okay, all non-allies within short distance who can hear your dreadful, intimidating words flee from you at top speed for 1 minute. Action. What's a difficulty?
This one, since they are kind of being controlled, let's call it a 6.
All right. I'm going to throw in 2 levels of effort. And okay. Yep. All right. And that's, what was it? That's an intellect. Okay. All right. So I want to re-roll, but there's, you know, we're heading towards the big top, and we're trying to dodge, and because we're still on the ground for whatever reason, because I haven't just like flown there. But Gene gets a determined look on his face, and he's going to, like, he's clearly about to say something, and right at that time, some idiot mime on stilts like walks over and just puts his hand in my face, you know, to try to and like shoves me aside, making the sound, because however it happens, that's the mime's ability. No. So I want to re-roll that. Do I need to? Hold on. There we go.
Hey, Thina.
All right. Damn mimes. So what do you say?
I stop for a second, turn around. Crash, are you behind me right now?
Oh yeah.
I said, I turn around and go, I know this is weird, but I'm going to jump up. Give me a little boost.
On ya.
And have him jump up. And I hold out my arms and I go, everybody move.
They all look at you. The riot around you stops for a second. And then they all turn and scatter on around each other, just heading everywhere away from where you are. Surprisingly effective.
I turn back around. Thank you. It's like physics. So now we can like double time it a bit into the tent. And what do we see?
Mm-hmm.
So inside of the tent, the one half of it is largely gone, and the other half is, you know, very much alight, and parts of the canvas is falling apart and falling down, and you know where its structural integrity finally gets compromised enough, the poles start falling out underneath it. But strangely enough, on one side of it, you see 2 people hanging out inside still. One is Calamity, who is standing there holding one of her guns to herself. And the other is the Circus King, who's just staring at you guys as you walk in. Ah, now you're here. How's it going, cousin?
I'm just going to gloss over the fact that you called me that.
Oh, but I'm not going to forget.
Yeah, much like that elephant that just got his ass knocked down.
Yes, yes, that's you. You've never appreciated the fun things in life. Always Mr. Serious and have to do everything the right way. Ugh. Pathetic.
Oh, you can ask some of my team members. I rarely do things the right way. It's at
Work with
least
him on
for,
that, yeah.
but it's at least for the right reason.
Reason doesn't exist. There's only madness. You should know that.
I know that it takes its toll. And I'll give you your damn 69 cents later. So, this is the Circus King. So, upon hearing him say cousin, I ping Eddie to try to get, like, all right, what's.
The Circus King is a musician. He plays for the progenitor to keep it calm. And he hasn't been anywhere near his job in a very long time.
So he hasn't done. He's okay. He has lost his purpose.
He's not supposed to be here.
He's not even supposed to be here.
Servitors piping around the mad idiot god Azathoth.
This was supposed to be his day off.
He leans forward, saying, "So, I have a proposition for you. Either the two of this settle this like proper brothers should, or she's going to blow her brains out after she blows out the brains of all of your friends. There's nothing any of you can do to stop her."
After the events that have happened in the last, I don't know how many hours, I really don't think you can guarantee that, cousin.
Patrick, how much of Circus King's concentration is focused on Jean right now?
It's difficult to tell. You think he's probably paying attention to him, but you kind of get the feeling that he's more in control of the situation than he looks.
Okay, I am going to go invisible. So describe to me, is Calamity just on the ground, or what's she doing?
So
And what's her
Calamity,
expression? What is she aware of?
Calamity doesn't seem to be aware of much of anything. She looks like she's having some kind of episode. So she's like there's a lot happening inside as opposed to nothing happening inside. But yeah, it's just mayhem going on. If you want her back, I have to let her go. You know that. She's already lost otherwise. Just us. We can do that, can't we?
There's a lot of things we can do. I'm just not sure
that
you're
I'm stronger than you.
bragging won't get you where you want to go, and you know that.
You've had people call you emperor before, but who am I?
If I said 24601, would that ring a bell?
Just us, mind to mind.
I pinged to Eddie, is like, is this all your cousin talking? Is the vehicle is
The
the
vehicle has long since lost
okay.
arms.
Okay. So he's talking. Okay. I see. So as we are discussing, I've learned to started I've started to learn to kind of carry on two conversations, or at least focus some attention to Eddie while I'm
Yes,
discussing. So um I'm asking, I was like, what do you think? How nuts is he?
that's all he is. He's madness. It's the only thing that can exert any sort of control over chaos.
And so what would take that power away but order?
And it is my job to transform things. Grendel, by the way, starts grabbing his head. Like, oh wait, oh shit, not again, not again. And then he gets that look into his eyes. He's lost somewhere.
The
Fuck.
same as who?
It's the same as Calamity.
Okay, okay.
The clock's ticking. You gotta let me in. He's staring right into your eyes, and you can feel this pressure in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hold on.
So I can see that this, even if I'm not hearing any of this, I'm seeing that this is kind of building to, building to a climax point, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I have no idea if this is going to work, but it'll be fun as hell to try. I am invisible. I am phased. Kind of like how I went through Automacon and kind of short circuited him. I want to see if I can jump up through Grendel's brain.
Small target, man. Small target.
Okay, you can give that a whirl.
Okay, what am I doing?
All right, the target on this. Let's see. It's a celestial being, which is kind of tough, but it's a secondary effect from a celestial being. It's not actually going into his head. That would be just problematic. Along with power stunts, let's call it, say, a 9.
Okay.
You try to let yourself into Grendel's world.
No, I am literally just trying to physically phase through his brain in the hopes that it will do the same thing to Circus King's control that it did to Automacon. I'm not actually trying to be psychic. Okay. So we're going. You said 9?
9.
Okay. Is this? Oh well, I guess it really doesn't matter if it's might or intellect. Okay, so I have mind for might, which means I can use might instead of intellect for just about anything. Let's see. Bring this up. See what we got here. You said base difficulty was 9. We're gonna put in. Can I get an asset because Circus King is distracted by
Yes. Yeah, Circus King is very much trying to get what he wants right now.
Okay. Would that count as 1 or 2 assets?
Let's make it 2 for fun.
Excellent. Okay. All right. I am putting in 5 levels of effort, which will only cost me 5 might points. And boom.
So you pass through Grendel's head.
Yep.
And two really cool things happen. The first, Grendel passes out. Boom.
Okay.
Shouldn't that be more like boom?
Timber.
So you get through, you turn around and see what's happening with him. And damn if that isn't the funniest thing you have ever seen in the entirety of your life. So first you giggle a little bit, and then a little bit of a snicker, and then you start laughing. And you can't control it. It's just happening to you.
Okay, I don't get like an intellect defense roll or anything?
No, because this is plot.
Okay.
So
Can I get
is
an
this
XP
a
for it then?
GM intrusion?
Yes. Yes,
Thank
it is.
you.
So Crash blips away for a moment.
I'm giving the other one to Jean, by the way.
Thanks.
Then Grendel falls over onto the ground, and then for just a moment, and then starts trying to stand up again. And then Crash reappears, and he's laughing, just kind of pointing at Grendel.
Okay.
The Circus King's looking at you. Let me in. You know you want to.
So, okay. I want to, at this time, hold on. I want to take an action to initiate goad.
Okay.
And we're not in formal combat, so I'm not sure about mechanics. But I communicate with Eddie. Let's give him what he thinks he wants. And then so I want Eddie to create, I don't know, I'm trying to set the trap.
So I have a great idea for this.
Okay.
Eddie is currently kind of trying to fight off the Circus King.
Yes.
Because that's who Circus King's actually going after. The Circus King
Correct.
doesn't care about you.
Right,
You know,
right.
Being. You're just like, a wet sock for all he cares about. So you get the idea. Wait a minute. Why don't we just let him in and let Eddie take over for a bit?
Yes.
You can't fight him.
Nope.
Eddie can fight him.
Uh-huh.
Right now, you might just be holding him back and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So roll it to see if you can sucker him in.
Yep.
And that target is... That target is going to be a 7.
All right.
I'm assuming
And
that's some kind of deception.
now I was gonna, is that like the goad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to coax him into doing something stupid, and he will not realize how stupid.
Oh, wait, hold on. I did not, what did I do? I put in 2 levels of effort. Hold on. I did not adjust from my last roll. I put 2 levels of effort. Did the 19, did the minor effect, did that refund any of my pool?
No, but if you take it as having spent an XP to reroll,
Yeah.
just then you don't get docked the points again.
Okay. So wait, well, I say keep that because you gave me one. Yay, thank you.
Good.
And okay, I just want to make sure my numbers are right. That's all. Okay, so you're already up. Goad. Difficulty 7. And this is more intellect. We're doing it. 2 levels of effort. And hold on. Heightened skills. I would like to also no, that's a separate roll. Never mind. Can't do it that way.
Take an asset because you were trying to save your friend, your old enemy, and take a second asset because you're trying to save your girl.
Okay. Excellent. I think I can do this. Yay!
Yes!
Okay, it's automatically taken. Yes. I'm about to be dumb soon.
You feel the connection between you and Eddie get shaken up. Crash. All of a sudden, the laughter stops.
Excellent.
And everything just becomes clear for a moment. You see, Calamity's like, whoa, the hell am I?
Okay.
Grendel stands up. Oh shit, what is happening over? So meanwhile, back in Central Park. The collection of people with glowing eyes floating around, holding up the barrier, starts to waver. And one by one, they drop back to the ground. And the time distortion surrounding the right donor stops. Just blinks out like it wasn't there. And it's once again moving and smashing its foot onto the ground where Automacon used to be. And then it starts turning, trying to scan for its next target. So what y'all doing?
Okay. Ice, can you immobilize this thing?
I can try.
Okay, would it help if it's on the ground?
No. It's just fucking huge.
You can immobilize
Right.
a part of it.
Like its legs?
I can do a couple different things. I can try and encase like its feet in ice. I can try to interrupt its processing and keep it from moving at all.
Let's go with the second.
Or I can try and shatter the thing. At least part of it.
All right. What do you need to disrupt its processing?
I just gotta really fucking concentrate and hope I'm strong enough to do it.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to use interruption jam. Because I'm assuming, given its size, it's within short range of me at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So my hope is for storytelling is to basically reach in with my ice and freeze basically its central processing abilities so that it can't move and keeps it from taking any action for one round.
Okay. Give it a whirl. Right Downers target is a 8.
Okay. Difficulty 8. I am going to, how much effort do I have? I have 5 levels of it.
And remember the asset that you have because of Bill.
Right. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to throw a couple levels of effort into it. I focus.
So it's turning and then it shakes a little bit and then stops moving for just a moment.
And I just keep focusing on it. You guys
Akira,
can do whatever it is you're gonna do now.
Akira looks at it, looks at its head, comes up with some processing. Now, of course, she never really says more than 1 or 2 words at a time, so it's hard to tell what's going on inside of her head. So, but she's always been a person of action. So she like pulls up her arm, waves it out like this, and its legs are knocked out from under it. Poof! And it falls onto its back. So now the head's kind of in range. You're working on keeping it from moving. So, wrenching the head to the side. Anyone have ideas?
Yes.
Oh, good, because that's really not. That's
Okay.
actually not
Please.
in my wheelhouse.
All right. So you said the V1s are racked on its back.
Yes.
Are any of them okay? Like where in relation to its head?
They point up to either side of the shoulder.
Okay. So what Jack would like to do is shoot one of them with the alien gun to explode the warhead in the right direction to snap its head around.
If only you had this expert knowledge of geometry and how physics works.
Yes.
All right, take the shot.
Okay. So, one other question. It's been longer than a minute since the initial combat with it.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so that's out. Right. But I did scan it with the predictive equation, so I get an asset.
Yep. So there's 2 assets.
That's 2 assets.
Actually, let's see. Yeah, no, it's about right.
So what's the target?
So target's an 8.
Okay. So 2 assets. It's eased by 1 because of the deck shift. And this is so let's put 3 levels of effort into the roll. And come on, baby.
Nice.
And don't forget to roll your d20 to see if you deplete the weapon. No, you didn't. Excellent. So you take a delightful shot, hit the thing in its side, catching the detonator right in the right spot, which causes the warhead to explode. Fortunately, it's lying on its back, which is absorbing most of the blast because all of the former scions around you that
I
recently
totally
released
totally took
would have
that
gotten
into
wiped.
consideration.
But of course, because you're a hero, funnels the force of the blast up along the firing rack and knocks its head off to the side. A bunch of the nearby scions catch on to what y'all are doing and start working very hard trying to keep its head in the same spot.
Paw, you're up.
Okay. Now that I made okay. I'm going to jump up, do the whole super jump thing to kind of bound up his body up to the opening and literally just squeeze myself in.
So you wedge your head into the space to see if it's going to fit.
Yeah.
And you have to flatten your ears and kind of, it's not a really comfortable space. And so you slowly start working your way through. And when you're about halfway, your legs are flailing around with each other, your tail's spinning, trying to keep you, somewhat in balance so you don't like knock off position, and slowly start working your way to the inside of the machine.
Okay.
So back on Rikers. I know, fun, huh? So back on Rikers, Eddie is getting flooded by whatever it is that the Circus King is doing. And said your connection's getting really dodgy. You're not quite sure what happens. And then you hear Eddie's voice. And it's a little different than it usually speaks. It says just 2 words. It's actually 2 words in English. It's only 1 word in its language. And you hear them and you find yourself saying it, which is only me. And you realize that Eddie's angry now. Not because it's being attacked, but because to get to it, it had to go through you. And Eddie doesn't like that because you belong to Eddie. No one else is allowed to be in there.
You belong to me, little man.
And so it repeats it again. And the Circus King looks a little confused. Like, what? And then everybody there, especially Crash, because he's your friend, gets to see the most horrifying thing as Eddie comes out. So what does Eddie look like? Fully, taking control. What happens?
If Eddie is the oldest, if Eddie was the emperor, what you see, the teeth, the R that is projected, the teeth merge, and the size of what Eddie looks like rivals Grendel. The sense that you get, funny enough, is cold, granite, stone that has always been there. Yet there is an energy that flows through that. The original life force. It's not flashy. It's not sparkly until it needs to be. So it is both dark stone and the eyes glow orange. And just this imposing figure that's been there almost literally forever. And this little bit of an evil smile because Eddie hasn't been in this form in a long, long, long time. And once again, you hear it, but now it reverberates through anyone, any living creature in like a 20-foot outside the big top, if there's anybody still there. But once again, you hear it. Only me.
So, speaking of the people, you can actually hear them. Because all the ones near the tent have started chanting. Just 4 syllables over and over again. Like they can't really control themselves any much more than they could before when Circus King was controlling them. Yarla, Thotep, over and over again. As they are now in the dread presence, the King in Yellow, the Black Emperor, the messenger from beyond, you. And Eddie now has a full grasp on the Circus King. Well, the alien of the Circus King. Just gripping onto it and then does what he does. Transforms it away from what it was before and breaks its connection. And then just lets go. And the Circus King falls back. Looks around. Where the fuck am I? So those of you who are in that side of the event can refresh all of your ciphers with from the massive release of energy coming from the celestial being, which then compresses back down, fits back together, and becomes Gen X again. So, back in Central Park, Paw of Justice is squirming her way through a very badly designed place to walk through because, well, it's not supposed to be. So you squeeze through, you have to take a hard turn, and it does a little bit of a corkscrew. But then eventually, your head pops through the other side. Actually, one of your arms does first. Then your head pops out, and you have to turn a little bit the other way, and then your other shoulder pops out. And so now the top half of you is there, and you can see into the pilot compartment. It actually has 2 chairs, only one of which is occupied at the moment. And it is occupied by the desiccated corpse of what can best be described as a very high-ranking Nazi officer who is busily trying to operate the controls of this thing. To no avail. It's, kind of paralyzed at the moment. And it's saying stuff to itself in German. You imagine it's swearing a lot.
Okay. Is it this animated corpse zombie? I don't even know what the hell it is. Does it give any indication that it has heard me squirming my way in?
No, it is busily trying to operate the machine that is not quite operating, trying to get it to sit back up or something.
Well then. Being the fact that I have Ambusher, which said when you attack a creature that has not yet acted during the first round of combat, your attack is eased, and I had a different another one. There we go, from the shadows. And if I also successfully attack a creature that was previously unaware of my presence, deal 3 additional points of damage. So I am going to
Fuck him up.
Yep, it is time to fuck him up. Does he have anything in his hands, or is he just poking at buttons and
The
stuff?
controls are in his hands.
What was that?
The only thing in his hands are the controls.
Okay, so he doesn't have any weapons. He's just
He has a sidearm on him. It's attached to the belt that's attached to his rotting uniform. You're not quite sure what kind of state it's in because
okay. Okay.
probably
I'm just
hasn't been
gonna,
away
I'm
from
just
there
gonna
long.
do just an unarmed. I'm gonna just leap on him from behind and try to remove his head.
All right.
Death from
So
above!
target for this unfortunate sucker is going to be a 3.
Two, three. Let's see.
So I'd recommend perhaps putting some effort into the damage.
Oh, I'm putting some effort into. I was just double checking. But I had boosted my effort up to. So we're gonna just go with 4 levels of effort.
Nice.
There we go. And that's actually so that's the base damage is 11 plus an extra 3 points.
All right. So you leap down upon this thing, plant your legs on its shoulders, grip it about the head with your claws, and just give as good of a pull as you can. And wouldn't you know it, that head just pops right the heck off. Just like part of the spine still attached to it. The body is still trying to move, but without a head, it's not doing a very good job of anything anymore. It's thoroughly reanimated, but yeah, kind of still needs its senses to be able to do anything. And
Yeah.
see or hear. Although the mouth is still now trying to swear at you because it sees you, and the robot now, of course, is just sitting there with you being the closest thing to the controls.
Okay. Is the earpiece still working?
Yep.
No interference? Okay. Like, yeah, there was a reanimated Nazi in here. He no longer has his head. He's not
Excellent.
actually dead at this point. He's just incapacitated.
He is no
Well-
more or less dead than he was before this happened.
I'm pretty sure we can rent a chipper shredder when this is all said and done with.
Yeah, or fire. Burn it with fire.
Ice shatters.
That works too.
That works. Okay, so I'm assuming at this point you want me to see if I can try to figure out how to shut this down.
Sure.
Strangely enough, you know the exact sequence to shut the reactor off in one of these things.
Okay, what am I rolling for that? Because
It depends on how good of an explanation that Jack's able to give you.
Okay. So what am I rolling for that?
Oh, you remember, it's, you have to turn that knob, flip that lever, wait about 10 seconds, and then hit the big Frankenstein switch from one position to another, and that'll shut the thing off.
Okay. So hit that knob, that lever, wait 10 seconds, and then the big knife switch over there. Pull it to that position.
okay, I follow. Okay, do I need to actually roll for this, or can I just follow his instructions?
So you can follow instructions pretty well.
Okay.
And remember, you're a cat. Just because you choose to ignore people doesn't mean you don't hear them. So, once you put the switch into the down position,
Mm-hmm.
things start to go weird because the reactor goes offline, which appears to be the only thing holding the dimensional anomaly together. So it starts pulling in on itself. The space around you starts to distort.
Okay, I am going to make a very swift get the fuck out of here as fast as my paws can take me exit.
Jack, there is a emergency hatch release on these things.
Okay. Yeah, I've got enable others, so, and we've hand waved how that works is through comms, so I am highlighting it on her heads up display.
Hit the big red button.
Button.
No.
Now.
Boom!
So you hear an explosion above you as the mask from the robot blasts off of it, leaving you a means of crawling up through the hole into the head and then out through the face.
That works.
Emergency exit you wouldn't use. That you don't want to be up there. That's where everyone's going to be shooting. So you manage to squeeze yourself out of it as the thing is dragging itself together into a single thing. Everybody is getting the heck away from the robot now because they're kind of expecting it to explode.
I'm gonna jump off of it to the nearest bunch of trees. I'm aiming for treetops.
So you leap out just as it hits this critical singularity point, and this big flash of light bathes over all of you, which, amongst other things, refreshes all of your ciphers that you are now missing.
Okay. What are the other things? Or is that cancer?
Cancer survivable.
You do know that it's not
But talk
lupus.
to Shift.
Yeah, just talk to Shift, really. If you have any problems with the massive gamma waves and neutrons that were just...
Yeah.
You can get through that as long as you survive the first 10 seconds. So everything quiets down, except for this. You're noticing that the city itself is kind of loud. You're hearing like 90s techno dance music going on everywhere. It's the battle cry of the Scions, because they always have to listen to music when they're fighting, because otherwise their brains get shorted out.
Is that Lords of Acid?
Those of
It's
you
something of acid.
over in the big top, it finally loses its structural integrity and kind of parts to either side around you guys, which is kind of cool as you're watching it. And you get a chance to look up at the night sky, and you all pause for a moment on both sides because the stars don't quite look right. They are moving kind of in weird little orbits amongst themselves until they all eventually slide into this big kind of mandala pattern up in the sky. And Jean, you hear in your head Eddie say something. Ah, it's time. And that's it for this week's episode of The Powers That Be.
Excellent. So, yes, that was issue 32 of The Powers That Be. This one was round 2, fight. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. So we are going to take a quick break, come back to our after show. That'll come up on YouTube tomorrow night. If you guys like what we do, again, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. We don't make any money from this. We're just doing this to have fun and hopefully let you guys have some fun as well. These people roll a lot of ciphers right now. But again, we're going to get out of here. We are currently set for 3 weeks from tonight. Because again, Penzic is starting for those of you in the SCA. For those of you not in the SCA, most of these crazy people are going to go camping in August for 2 weeks. So, until then, for Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian People. Good night, everybody.